Hi, welcome to the video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy, and comment your thoughts and opinions on the stories. Let's get started. Am I the antagonist for kicking out my boyfriend's friend out of our motel room? For context, my boyfriend, 20 male, and I, 19 male, are living day to day in a very cheap, very dirty, crappy motel. We recently were evicted illegally, but are in no position to legally fight that right now. So we're stuck in this motel. My boyfriend starts asking around to see if we'd be able to spend a night or two at a friend's house to save money since we're pretty much completely broke. My boyfriend's friend, who I've only met a couple of times, tell us that instead of us coming to him, he can come to us, pay for another day at the motel for us, and buy us food. Awesome. I'm super excited to eat and thankful to have someone so kind to help us. Well, when my boyfriend's friend, let's just call him Jay, arrives at the hotel, the first thing he does is comment on how crappy the motel is. We know it's bad. We know it's terrible, but we're trying to make the best of this. As we say all the time, it could be worse. Unfortunately, these comments from Jay continue, pointing out every little thing that's wrong with the room. Not only does he make these comments, but also informs us that he will not be able to pay for another night, or will he be able to pay for any food. I was upset, but was just trying to enjoy Jay's company and try to not make it obvious that I'm a little upset. But I start to think that, since he can't help with another night at the motel, and also can't help us to get food, this will most likely be a short 2-3 hour visit. Nope. Jay stays for 3 days in our motel room, not helping us pay for food, and he starts using our shower and oral hygiene products that are already very low, and once we run out of them, we won't be able to get replacements immediately. Oh, and has still making comments. On the morning of day 3, I explained to Jay that I would appreciate it if he left around 12:01 so my boyfriend and I can figure out tomorrow's room money and food. He agrees, but tells us that his paycheck will be deposited around noon, and tells us that before he leaves he'll pay for half of the room and some food. Cool, I'm once again excited. However, noon comes, and Jay says his paycheck hasn't dropped yet, and then it's 3 in the afternoon, and then 6 PM, 10 PM, and finally I snap at 1 AM. I tell Jay that he has well overstayed his welcome, hasn't helped us in any way for 3 days, has lied about helping us, and lied about his intentions. I tell him that he has to leave now, so I can sleep in the bed that I was paying for. Of course, he says it's too late for any Uber to come get him, and tells me I'm overreacting, and I need to calm down, and give him till the morning. Absolutely not. I get my shoes on, grab my jacket, and tell both Jay and my boyfriend that I'll be back when Jay leaves. My boyfriend is visually shocked, since I never stand up for myself. After 10 minutes an Uber magically arrived for Jay. Now for the top comments. NTA, he lied and freeloaded for days while you're in a bad financial position. He also brought negative energy to an already tough situation. Great job standing up for yourself. Keep your head up. This tough time will pass. NTA, I'm sorry you're in such a shitty position. He totally overstayed his welcome, and I'm surprised you let him stay as long as he did. I have such a hard time voicing my concerns and opinions in fear of making someone upset. I'm still surprised I finally snapped. I hope your boyfriend backed you up. Am I the antagonist for making my sister-in-law pay above average rent for one bedroom? I'm 100% being petty here, but curious if I'm actually wrong. Most of my husband's family think I'm being childish and need to let the past go, as my sister-in-law can't afford this, but her behavior toward us in the past makes me feel this is warranted. 2 years ago my house burned to the ground after being struck by lightning. Thankfully it was during the day, so our 3 kids were at school and my husband and I were at work. We lost everything, but we were safe. It took almost 11 months for the insurance to pay out. The insurance covered 1 month worth of hotel stays, but after that we were made to fend for ourselves, and the only option we had was to move in with my sister-in-law. She tells us we can have her spare room and her office space, since she used neither of the rooms, and her stipulations was we needed to purchase all of our own food and pay her $100 a week. By week 3 all of that changed. She then decides we need to pay her $250 a week and we can only use one room. So all 5 of us were crammed into the smallest room she had, which was the size of a glorified closet space and didn't even fit a twin bed and a small dresser. So we lived out of trash bags and slept on the floor for close to $1,000 a month some months and still had to purchase all of our own food. Despite her claiming my children on her food stamps, she also had no bills outside of her land tax, $450 a year, electric and heating oil, which she hardly ever filled. So we were essentially paying her so she could do leisure activities. It was the worst 8 months of my life. 3 months ago my grandmother decided that she wanted to go to assisted living after a fall and transferred the deed of her house to me and basically said it was mine now. It is a 5-bedroom farmhouse. My boys insist on sharing a room, so we have 2 extra bedrooms. Well, my sister-in-law lost her house last month due to not paying her land tax for several years and asked if her and her stepdaughter could stay with us until they get enough money to move down south. I said sure. 1 bedroom, $800 a month and you have to buy and cook all your food separately because my daughter is vegan. She looked at me like I had 10 heads and said that she and her stepdaughter should not be made to share a room when there are 2 extra rooms and stated she cannot afford a rent of $800 while purchasing all of her own food on top of it. I said neither could we, but we managed to cram 5 people into a glorified closet space while you were getting $1,000 in food stamps. Take it or leave it. She decided to leave. Again, I'm being told I'm childish. Am I the antagonist? Now for the top comments. NTA. Love the sweet smell of karma in the morning. NTA at all. And karma is a beautiful thing sometimes. NTA you stated that you had 5 people crammed in a room and she managed to moan and complain sharing one with her stepdaughter. She seems like S freeloader and shouldn't be enabled to just mooch off others and float by. Where is her husband/stepdaughter's dad? Did she not once apologize to you for the cramming you in a small room and upcharging you? $800 a month is basically the price of a room rental in most places. You are not the a-hole at all. NTA. It's $250 a month for the room and $750 a month for you having to see her stupid face every day. You're giving her an 80% discount on the rent because she's family. Thanks for making me laugh today. Am I the antagonist for backing out of a vacation our friends hijacked? Backstory, wife and I go to Disney every year for an anniversary trip. We were also married there, so it's fair to assume we're those people. However, we don't focus on our anniversary when we go besides dinner the day of. Just a nice little memory lane thing anyway. We're all getting older now, and for a while we've always told our friends we'd want to take them and their kids to the parks once they're big enough. Lo and behold, we get approached by our closest friends who basically give the green light theoretically. So we start planning, looking at places, all that crap. Week goes by and everything's pretty settled out. We know the details just need to click purchase. Then it's dropped on us. They invited their entire family. And then it's established they won't want to go without their extended family. Blindsided us and brought in some anxiety because of planning. Eventually we manned up and said we're not interested in making this a grand family vacation. We've been saying for a while now we want to share something we love dearly with our friends and their kids. But this is a little much for us. Not to mention the headcount makes logistics a nightmare. So we back out of going together and say we'll do our own thing. Now there's awkwardness and tension. I was genuinely upset for a couple days. Probably some wrong interpretations occurring of how we feel about their family. Am I the antagonist? Or to really? Now for the top comments. NTA. I think your friends were taking advantage of your kindness. I don't think they expected them to pay for the entire extended family. Like they said it was about logistics aka planning where to go and what to do every day, which would have become an absolute nightmare going from a few people to a huge group. Plus the whole mood changes when it's a more intimate gathering, becomes a large group outing every day. NTA they basically wanted you to plan a vacation for them. People get paid for that. Very well because it's damned important. Am I the antagonist for laughing at a woman while she was getting a haircut? I go to the same hair salon my wife does. Several hairdressers. Good service. I was getting a haircut when this woman comes in and they sit her in the chair next to mine. She asks for a pixie cut. As the hairdresser works, she pulls the hair over the woman's face at an angle, and some hair falls onto the woman's face as it's being cut. The woman goes, "Stop right now." She then tells the hairdresser that she's not paying for a service where they let hair fall into her face, because what if it gets into her eyes and she goes blind? So I couldn't help it. I just burst out, "Cause man. Just imagine you need protective goggles to a hair salon now lol." Naturally the woman called me an R, but so did my wife. When I told her that, I laughed. Am I the antagonist? Now for the top comments. I wold busted a gut laughing at such outlandish ridiculousness. What a hair-raising tale. Not the a-hole. What a hair-raising tale. Surely you mean a hair-falling tale. More like a hair-brained scheme. NTA, I bet the hairdresser appreciated you laughing. Because WTF is a hairdresser supposed to say to that? Laughter summed it up better than anything else could have. Yeah. Better op burst out laughing than the hairdresser doing so. Could cost her job. Am I the antagonist for telling my ex's fiance where we got married? My ex and his fiance are planning their wedding, and there's been a lot of drama because she wants to get married on their family estate, but his parents are saying no. When I went to pick my son up, she asked me where we had gotten married. She said she saw pictures from our wedding and the venue was beautiful, and since she was struggling to find a venue, she was interested in using the same one. If she had seen pictures, it would have been very obvious to her where we got married, so I didn't want to lie. I told her the truth, that we got married on his family's estate. She had a huge fight with my ex's family because they told her nobody had ever been allowed to get married on the estate, which I proved was a lie. Now my ex is angry at me for causing drama. He thinks I should lied to her because our circumstances were different, which is why we got married there. According to his sister, she accused them of favoring me, trying to sabotage her wedding and wanting us to get back together. Am I the antagonist? Now for the top comments. NTA, you simply told the truth, and I'm guessing they didn't want to upset her or have another failed marriage on their property. I really shouldn't have laughed at this. NTA, and try to stay as far away from this mess as you can. Info, do you know why the family isn't allowing them? What were you special circumstances? They don't like her because he originally started dating her to hurt me, and they think my ex is taking things too far by actually marrying her. His grandfather was unwell when we got married. We got married there, partly so that it would make things easier for him to attend. NTA, you're not obligated to perpetuate anyone's lies. That said, the whole thing is weird. Like, why is your ex's family lying to his fiance in the first place? Am I the antagonist for not letting my pregnant sister-in-law stay with me? When my son was 11, he was acting out a lot due to some things. One day I came home, and he had shaved a good portion of his hair off in a burst of anger. I'm a hairstylist, so I tried to salvage it, but we had to shave it off. He was really upset and insecure, no matter what I or his father said. I told people not to comment on it and everyone listened, except my sister-in-law. She gasped obnoxiously, called him egghead etc etc. Sister-in-law was still a teen, so we tried to be nice when telling her to stop, but it wouldn't work. Eventually my husband caused a scene during a dinner party after sister-in-law made my son the topic of a joke in front of everyone, and our relationship with my in-laws hasn't been the same since. My son is almost 18 now, and his hair grew back some time ago. He's in a better mental state and everything as well. Unfortunately, my sister-in-law will still make jokes about him the rare few times we see her, but he just makes fun of her back or ignores her. Anyways, sister-in-law is technically homeless and immediately asked us if she could move in. I didn't even have to tell my husband. He said no. She kept begging us as she's pregnant and can't move all the way back to her parents' house, but we were firm. We asked our son plus OTHER kids just in case, and they said hell no. She showed up at our house yesterday and got on her knees. I just rolled my eyes and told her she was embarrassing herself and to go away. She called me an asshole and said to think of her unborn daughter. I felt guilty, but it's not like she ever thought about my son, so I said no and told her to leave. She called me an asshole and said that she would never do this to me. I clearly don't think him the R, but she hasn't stopped messaging me, and she finally said sorry for bullying my son all these years. I also feel really guilty because she's pregnant, but that is really the only reason. Am I the antagonist? She keeps saying I am, and so does my other sister-in-law, but everyone else says they get it, but they also keep guilt-tripping me and my husband because she's pregnant. Edit. If my sister-in-law wasn't pregnant, I wouldn't have felt guilty and wouldn't have posted on here at all. The only reason I feel bad and I'm questioning myself is because she's pregnant. Now for the top comments. Unfortunately, my sister-in-law will still make jokes about him the rare few times we see her, but he just makes fun of her back or ignores her. Okay, so she doesn't really think much about teasing your son, and she's perfectly okay with doing it. I clearly don't think I'm the R, but she hasn't stopped messaging me, and she finally said sorry for bullying my son all these years. She's only apologizing because it could benefit her. You know this. Your sister is not your responsibility, especially after how rude she has been in the past, not the a-hole. She's only apologizing because it could benefit her. Exactly. If she isn't in this position, would she ever apologize? NTA edit a word. Nope. And expect her to double down and step up on the bullying now, not the a-hole. NTA. If other family members are guilt tripping you, then they should take her in. If you want to help her, offer a loan to help her move back with her parents. You may not see the money again, but at least she can't say you never helped her.